Proceeds of crime powers allow police to take cash and assets off criminals and use some of that money on good causes. And if criminals don't like that, the message to them is, on your bike, son.
Craigavon in Northern Ireland is just west of the city of Belfast. Police officers here have the same run of offences to deal with as officers across the rest of the UK. But one crime appears to have affected this community more than any other.
We have a lot of housing estates, and that's fed by cycle paths. So these are cycle paths that would be, they would be used by some of the young people or people who are using motorcycles, scramblers. But clearly this isn't the right environment. This is here for bicycles and for pedestrians, so it's not safe.
A new craze, particularly popular amongst young people, is seeing people riding illegally on cycle paths and even footpaths, and has cost lives over the last 4 years. These officers know the drill well.
It's just up on the hill here to our right is where a colleague and I had stopped a young male who'd been riding a motorcycle around the central estates on the cycle paths in Craigavon.
This is police helicopter footage of a recent incident in Craigavon.
We'd been riding about for about 20 minutes, half an hour. We'd been riding past young children. My mother's pushing prams. I'd also had a young person on the back who had no helmet, and they were riding around the cycle paths. I mean, riding scramblers is a lot of fun when it's done right. I mean, I grew up riding scramblers, motorcycles myself, so it is a lot of fun, but we want to make sure that the young people are doing this in a safe environment and helping them understand the consequences if they ride round the cycle paths and knock somebody down.
This young rider was later stopped by the police, but everything the officers have seen around antisocial and dangerous riding has convinced them it will take more than police patrols to stop this practice. There needs to be a mental change in the minds of young riders, and the proceeds of crime turned out to be one way that a huge impact could be had on young and sometimes dangerous riders.
Come on, let's go.
This is Davey Mulligan, and he is the front line in teaching young riders how to be safe.
Come on ahead, boys.
He's a tutor and expert rider, but has had a few knocks himself.
I started in 1979 when I was 16 years old, and 40 years on, I'm still competing in motocross and enduro. Every time I ride the bike, I get that same happiness, adrenaline, relaxation, clarity of thought, and I just love it. Who's had a wee crash when they're riding the motorbikes in this course? Wow!
Injuries aside, Davey was approached about putting together a training course that might teach youngsters some real road sense and safety and stop antisocial behaviour.
This is the importance of why we focus on our pre-ride safety checks.
He soon had a plan and had received funding from proceeds of crime. And the loss of a life focused his mind far more than anything else.
The Motorcycle Awareness Project has been born out of a really tragic set of circumstances that happened quite near to where we are now in West Belfast, in the Mulligan Forest Park, where a lady named Valerie Armstrong sadly lost her life, where she was involved in an incident where a scrambler was being ridden by an inexperienced rider illegally within a public walking space. And tragically, the impact of that is that her husband Seamus and the wider family have been impacted greatly by the loss of a mother, a wife, a sister, a cousin, and that is a tragedy that didn't need to happen.
And Davey was keen to reach out to the husband of Valerie Armstrong, who lost her life in the accident that inspired the scheme.
Before we decided to run the initial pilot project, we consulted and went to see Seamus and asked for his blessing upon the project that we intended to run here. And his words to me were, Davey, if you can prevent another family from experiencing what I and my family have had to go through since losing Valerie, you have my 100% support. He then came up and addressed both parents and children on the first pilot project And the impact of that in this room will stay with me for a long, long time. The circumstances leading to that were all born out of inexperienced, ill-judged, momentary decisions that consequentially led to Valerie being tragically killed.
The need for training for young riders was clear. And right here at the Ulster Grand Prix motocross track, where the pros come to race and learn, that's exactly what these lads are about to receive.
The young people that we're hoping to target are those within a community who have an interest or a passion for off-road motorcycles or who want to learn more about it. So we took a cross-community approach and we got young people from Lisburn and West Belfast. They came with the backing of their local community groups and the local neighbourhood police officers. And so that formed the nucleus of our first pilot project.
The course lasts 12 weeks and offers a rare chance for adult role models to bond with the kids they're teaching. And later on, we'll see a little bit of what the youngsters are learning.